If you're nice to him, he'll leave you. If you cook for him, he'll leave you. If you take care of him, he'll leave you. If you give him money, he'll leave you. This is what this book says. And actually, ladies, this sadly is the truth. But why do we live in such a f***ed up world where this has to be the truth?
I read the bestseller Why Men Love Bitches, From Doormat to Dream Girl, a woman's guide to holding her own in a relationship because of this woman.
Because this is actually what the book recommends. Keep your distance. Always keep your distance so that the man always is interested in you. This is not in my interest. I don't want to live that way. And I don't actually want to be with a human being that I always have to manipulate into loving me.
I was intrigued by her passionate reaction and wanted to read the book myself to see if it truly promotes manipulation and to use the book as a foundation to address the aspects of female nature that she doesn't directly mention in her video.
Say about myself is that I do not love this way. I don't love it when people ghost me or when people are distanced.
Why Men Love Bitches, written by Sherry Argoff and published in 2002, is a controversial and widely discussed book that challenges traditional relationship dynamics by encouraging women to be quote-unquote bitches. Not the unpleasant and unkind ones, but the ones who maintain self-respect, set boundaries, and avoid being overly accommodating.
The bitch is an empowered woman who derives tremendous strength from the ability to be an independent thinker, particularly in a world that still teaches women how to be self-abnegating. This is the woman who plays by her own rules, who has a feeling of confidence, freedom, and empowerment. And this is the feeling I hope women will glean from reading this book.
This book reminds me of the same advice pickup artists, PUAs, give men to become more attractive to women. Don't be nice and needy, don't be an arrogant asshole, but put yourself first. Be confident, unpredictable, and entertaining.
And what women actually respond to is not what they say they want.
So what do they respond to?
They really respond to a guy who's a challenge, a guy who's a question mark, a guy who keeps them guessing. You see, in the beginning, the less attractive you are physically, the more you have to rely on your attitude.
What distinguishes this guide for women are the goals women want to achieve. For men, it's to increase their chances of scoring dates and getting women into bed. For women, it's to get the man to treat them like princesses. This is where we get into the territory of The Manipulated Man by Esther Vilar. Esther Vilar claims that women use men as workhorses to do their bidding and details the strategies women use to achieve their goals. Why Men Love Bitches does the same thing, but is written for women and focuses more on the dating aspect. Strategies like praising the man and being a damsel in distress are recurring themes that highlight the goal of manipulating men into doing a woman's bidding. Just like Esther Vilar, Sherry Argoff highlights that women are in business instead of love.
The beauty is that the dumb fox is agreeable, tactful, and always polite, so he thinks he is in control, even though he isn't. Even though the dumb fox appears oblivious, she is very aware. It's no different than a successful business negotiation.
This book was published 22 years ago. The landscape has drastically changed since then, so the information in this book doesn't have the same impact in current times. And that's why there's a deeper layer to what this woman means when she says,
This actually makes me want to stay single for the rest of my life.
So in this video, I respond to her concerns while also providing my own insights on the book. I recommend you read this book for educational purposes. Like Sun Tzu said, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. But guys, be cautious, because the information in this book is going to make you understand women. And it's hard to love women when you understand them. The moment you see it, you can't unsee it. You've been warned.
Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we?
I wanted to talk about this book for a while now. There are a lot of good points in this book. I'm almost through it. But the question I'm asking myself while reading this is, really have to manipulate a man till I die just so he loves me? Can I not just be me, be myself? Do I always have to change myself to be liked and loved by a man?
This is where we have to establish what women mean by a man loving them in order to understand why the change or changes need to be made to get this particular love from a man that this woman and women in general crave. Because we all know men and women love differently.
When you make him feel like the man, the stud muffin, the legend, you can ask him to do anything and he'll jump to do it. He won't do it because you nagged him, he'll do it because he wants to, and he'll now feel good about it. As John Churton Collins said, never claim as a right what you can ask as a favor. Nagging makes it a right. Asking for a favor makes it a positive experience. He'll come running to help if he's going to be praised. Just as a woman wants to be perceived as a dream girl to a man wants to be perceived as a hero in his woman's eyes.
This part of the book explains that women need men to do things for them in order to feel loved. Whether it's dinner dates, gifts, helping around the house, paying rent, etc. Even if she can do it herself. So if a man is not doing what a woman wants him to do, she needs to manipulate him into doing the things she wants. The so-called bitch plays into the man's psyche to make him do her bidding. Praise is used as a lever to get results. Think of praise like the carrot in the classic carrot and stick analogy. The carrot motivates the donkey to keep moving forward, chasing a reward it desires. In the same way, praise is dangled in front of the man to encourage him to act in ways that benefit the woman. It's a subtle form of control, giving just enough approval to make him want to do more, without realizing he's being guided. Esther Villar wrote a whole chapter about women using praise as a manipulation strategy. Praise is literally one of the oldest tricks in the book. Now let's take it a step further.
This is actually what this book says. It says you have to change in order for a man to love you. Because when you don't change, you are nice, you do love the man, and when you do cook for him, and when you do care for him, he will leave you. And actually, this is the truth. It really is the truth.
Nah, this is the truth for Chad and Tyrone. When I read this book, I immediately knew that the information in it was not directed at the average man. Just take a look at some of the screenshots I've made.
Hey, can I rotate you with 3 other women, like a pitching staff? For example, Lynn had just started dating a plastic surgeon named Kevin. Another friend named Kelly snagged a guy whom a lot of women wanted by setting the tone from the very beginning. She did so simply by being reticent. The man was extremely successful, very attractive, and charismatic.
In order for a woman to feel like a dream girl, she needs to be attractive to the dream guy. Prince Charming, Chad and Tyrone, men who have options, men who are desired by other women. Women aren't buying these books to get with the average Joe, because these women already get an abundance of attention from the average man, especially in modern times with social media and dating apps. Dating has only gotten worse since this book came out 22 years ago. This woman is holding this book in her hands because she was not able to bag the Chad she's crazy about. The game changes when a woman has to deal with a man who also has his pick of the litter, especially in modern times, because why in the blue hell should Chad commit to one woman if he can have multiple women for recreational use? Keyword, recreational. Listen to this.
This may sound old school, but rest assured it is advice based on countless interviews I conducted with men, both young and old. A perfect example is Nathan. He just turned 25, and he does pretty well with the ladies. Here's what he had to say, word for word. If she gives it up too soon, we stop with the romance and we stop working at it. And truthfully, we'd rather be working hard at it. We enjoy playing the game. And if it ends too soon, we're disappointed. We even struggle inside subconsciously. We know we want to get it, but we know we want the girl to make us wait. Otherwise, it's a 1 or a 2-time thing. And then you move on.
You see, a man who does not do pretty well with the ladies, who are the majority of men in today's world, is not gonna have this conversation. This is where women have to blame their effing sisters who fought and are still fighting the so-called patriarchy that was keeping men like Nathan in check. Traditionally, a woman would only give up the punani after she got married. The marriage vows were more than just words. They were a public commitment made before witnesses, family, friends, and often a religious community. These witnesses served as a form of social contract, reinforces the seriousness of the commitment. The vows were a pledge of lifelong partnership, fidelity, and mutual support. And the presence of witnesses made it clear that this was a binding agreement, not just between the couple, but within the broader society.
How long should you wait before having sex? As long as you can. At the very least, keep it platonic for the first month. This tactic gives you time to learn about him. You don't want to wait until after you sleep with him to learn he's married, or that he has an ex-girlfriend who has chronic car problems and regularly needs a lift, or that his first cousin recently dumped him when he cheated on her with her older sister.
It's kind of ridiculous that this book has to remind women that they need to abstain from having sex with men in order to keep him interested. This basic principle has been the foundation or the pillars of commitment for centuries. It's ironic that what was once common knowledge now has to be spelled out in a self-help book. Religion also got rejected by women. These are things that worked in women's favor to keep men on the so-called plantation. Long-term relationships were never solely based on love alone. That's why this book, like any other POA book, cannot make someone love you. However, it can make you more attractive to the opposite sex, because attraction is not a choice. And that's why this book mentions attraction principles. People in general are attracted to specific things, and if you know what these things are, you can play into them. That's the truth. That's the red pill, seeing the world as it truly is.
And this is what makes me so sad about this world. You have to manipulate people into loving you. You have to manipulate people into treating you good. You have to be bitchy. You are not allowed to be nice, because when you're nice, they're going to use it against you or not take you seriously. Take your kindness for granted. This actually makes me want to stay single for the rest of my life.
This is pure gold. This is what men have to deal with on a regular basis with women in general today. And that's why many men have a similar response. They opt out. They take their talents overseas. They go where they are appreciated. It's women who have created this hookup culture and perpetuate situationships because they wanted to keep their options open and have a coping mechanism in place in case Chad and Tyrone just pump and dump them. Men learn early that everything comes with a price, but nobody gives a damn. Just man up. For women in general, this information is hard to digest, especially because this is what women ask for. They wanted this climate. Listen to this.
Now that women are long established in the workforce, men don't feel they're needed as much. Even though they work as hard, they don't get the feeling of being appreciated as the man of the house as much as they used to. As Erica Jong said, beware of the man who praises women's liberation. He's about to quit his job.
This is why it's hard to take women seriously. What they want is paradoxical. The more money a woman makes, the more she complains about not being able to find financially eligible bachelors to date. She wants to have her cake and eat it too, but that's not how reality works. Everything comes with a price.
As soon as I love someone, I love to take care of them. I've already experienced that myself too, that as soon as you take care of a man you love, he will take you for granted, he will cheat on you, he will lie to you, and as soon as you don't give him attention, he will love you even more, crave you even more. This is actually the truth, but it's such a sad truth, and it makes me want to not date anymore. I don't want to date anymore.
Let's think about relationships like cars. Imagine you're choosing between two cars. One is a high-performance sports car, and the other is a reliable everyday sedan. The sports car is flashy, powerful, and turns heads wherever you go. But it also requires more maintenance, premium fuel, frequent tune-ups, and higher insurance costs. You have to be willing to put in the effort to keep that car running at its best. Now the sedan is more low maintenance. It gets you from point A to point B reliably. with less upkeep and lower cost. It's not as exciting as the sports car, but it's dependable and easier to manage. The top man, like the sports car, requires more effort to attract and keep. He is in high demand, and maintaining a relationship with him may take more work. On the other hand, a man of a lower socioeconomic stature might be like the sedan. Less work to maintain, but perhaps less exciting to some. So if you want less work and fewer worries in your relationship, you might consider someone who's easier to maintain, just like choosing a sedan over a sports car. But if you're aiming for a top-tier man, be prepared for the extra effort, just like maintaining a high-performance vehicle.
Under such circumstances, what I say about myself is that I do not love this way. I don't love it when people ghost me or when people are distanced, because this is actually what the book recommends. Keep your distance. Always keep your distance so that the man always is interested in you. This is not in my interest. I don't want to live that way, and I don't actually want to be with a human being that I always have to manipulate into loving me. Why are humans like this? Why do men want women who are not nice?
Just to make things clear, nice in this context means being a pushover, not having your own life. Being a nag, a woman who makes a man want to pretend he's suddenly really into marathon running. Away from her. Men in general like nice women, kind women, feminine women. That's what this book describes.
The men I interviewed all phrased it slightly differently, but the message didn't change. Men like it when a woman has a bit of an edge to her, they said. Two things became clear across the board. First, they would regularly use the phrase mental challenge to describe a woman who didn't appear needy. And second, the word bitch was synonymous with their concept of mental challenge, and this characteristic, above all, they found attractive.
Like I've said many times on this channel, most women are boring. Punani is overrated. Sex is overrated. Women who think they can't keep a man purely because of booty tap dancing are a bunch of fools. Especially when you deal with a Chad or Tyrone who has punani for breakfast. Women are throwing themselves at these guys. This woman is not a victim. And how do I know? Because women always tell on themselves. Just let them talk long enough. Check this out.
The main point is anybody out there who thinks the same way as me? I understand everything Sprinkle Lady says. I understand everything the Wizard Liz says and all those other women, what they say. And I agree with them.
The moment a woman agrees with that sprinkle witch, you already know what she's looking for and is not willing to pay the price. Check this out.
Like when people ask, well, what do you bring to the table besides sex? We're wasting our time with you. We should bring a clock with with a time or a stop clock on it, a timer on it. And when your time is up, then you get up from the table. Okay? Because a lot of times people are like, what do you bring to the table besides sex? A lot of people throw in that sex because they automatically think that they're gonna get sex. I don't bring nothing to the table. What you bring? Well, if I were a waitress, I'd bring your order, and I know you better have my tip. But I'm not a waitress, so I bring nothing to the table. I'm the guest of honor. You bring me something, okay?
How in the blue hell can you agree with bringing nothing to the table? Why in the blue hell would a man of value, a man with standards, want to commit to a woman that brings nothing to the table? Women just keep proving Leonardo DiCaprio right for recycling these younger women, because apparently women have no problems being for recreational use only when it comes to high status men. It doesn't matter how you slice it. At the end of the day, it is men who give women power. It is men who have to deem the juice worth the squeeze in order to pursue a relationship with a woman. And that's why all of these women, including the sprinkle witch, tell women to go for the guy who is generous and is willing to chase and pursue women without question.
If they're not chasing, we ain't worried about it. Okay? If you have to chase behind a man or worry about how you're going to get him to do this and how you're going to get him to do that. He's not the correct type of man for you. You got the wrong target. You wasting a lot of time, and you're trying to figure out things that he doesn't care about.
When you are truly running the show, you don't need to tip your hand or flaunt it. If he is treating you like you are his dream girl, you have all the power you need. Remember, feminine strength is equally as powerful. It's poetic justice. Men control the world, but women control the men.
But never has anybody talked about the fact that this is actually sad truth, and that you don't want to act like this for the rest of your life, because it's quite draining for yourself to always keep this pace up. I don't know, or is it just me?
Patreon gang, salute! Manifest, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.